Oh, and coming up, Nijam, he is with Best Apps Market. And they came out a year ago to huge success with their app discovery tool for Android. And then they call me this week and say they're doing an app that just came out this morning, last night. When I was doing my story for CNET last night, I couldn't find it. It wasn't up yet. It's AppDisco. Yep. And give me your elevator pitch before I start the...
I'm using your terminology before. It's context-aware app discovery, and we'll show you how we know what you want before you want it.
On Android only?
On Android only. Right.
I think this is the first time in the history of the App Show we've had an Android-only app. Very strange. All right.
It's changing.
Time begins.
Can you see? Okay.
And this is our second to last app, I should tell you.
So with AppDisco is short for app discovery. Ha 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 ha.
Ha ha ha. It's a good name, AppDisco.
But basically, we have a feed of apps and games that are basically designed for you based on reasons why, which you can't read here, which says like from your playlist you created. And a lot of them are based on what we worked on before. We worked in our team called the Game Genome Project, which is we came up with a gene trait map of what makes a game fun. And we've come up with these traits. We have hundreds of them. And our editors, who are in San Francisco, pretty much play games all day long and gene tag games as they play them. The big advantage for you as the end user and as a developer is how do you get discovered? How do you find a cool new app or game?
Yeah, how do you find apps that aren't like fun and
exactly.
No offense, but like by Kleiner Perkins or something? I mean,
yeah,
like
exactly.
Little apps.
Usually, the issue we faced when we did Best Apps Market was that it's a great app. It's got 5 million installs. It has an app of the day. The users come back for that aspect, and it's changing. It's fresh. But we realized over time talking to them is that people really want something personalized for them. And how do you describe what you like in a game? It's like, I like a fantasy game that does this and that, and how do you do that? And that's where, if you go
back to Elma, please.
Back to this. This is where you can describe it in the way it matters to you. For example, if you like 3D games, is the visual trait you can come into.
Is this all G-rated?
This is what?
G-rated, like?
Yeah. So mostly G-rated. But there are stuff, and you can add like other themes to it. So maybe you like to go in and you want 3D car games. So now you get 3D car games. So you see a bunch of these, look cool, but you know what? I like how it blows stuff up. So I want shooting 3D car games. And now you get the type of games that you want. And really, the really cool part and the powerful part is you can save it. And you say, notify me when something new comes up, and hit save. And you can keep creating new searches on top of that as you keep going. So like my mom, she likes Sudoku. So she can pick, but she's like, I don't want to play Sudoku over and over again. She can pick a basic mental skill, do a very simple kind of math game. She gets some things. Say, you know what, I want to play, let's see, multiplayer. I want to just play by myself. So simple math games that she can play by herself, she can save it. And this way you get the newest, coolest game that comes out that matters to you. And as a developer, the cool part is you can get to the target audience of the people that you really care about. They like the aspects of your game, and they now have a way to express it, and for you to connect with them and get users from them. So this will update with now math games that I want. And the other cool part is we create what we call like your playlist, which is almost like a catalog, like a personalized app store.
This is like a Pandora-like experience for app discovery.
That's the whole point. Eventually the goal is we keep learning more and more about you as you like, dislike, as other actions you do, as you interact with it. And our goal eventually is we should know all these things about you and automatically give you the best apps. And who likes to go back and search and waste time on app stores for things? It'll just come to you, and we'll notify you, and you can be one of the first ones to get it and be the cool kid in the block, be like, I got it first.
Now, why Android only? And I guess the obvious question is, the answer is the most devices are Android
growing,
devices.
6 times as fast. We had some history in it, so that helped. I think it's really open too. I think for a lot of people doing context-aware stuff, there's a lot of information you can get access to in Android. You may not get on iPhone. And you can learn so much here that your algorithms will get better. And then when you go to iPhone, you'll be ahead of the curve.
But lots of viruses on that Android ecosystem.
There are and there are not. I mean, the advantage of our thing is, too, we have editors reviewing and adding. But there's a lot of tools they're doing in Android. I think that the old days are gone. I've heard from companies that do advertising deals with us, security companies, that they let Google know about the stuff and they remove the bad things. So a lot of the stuff that you hear about is vanishing. Well,
that's good to hear. One thing that's amazing about BAM, the company, is you guys were unknown and you hit 1 million downloads. I mean, you're like an automatic success last year.
So we launched Best Apps Market BAM 15 months ago, and it hit 5 million installs about a month ago. And it's doing really well, about creating 2 million installs a month on Android for different users. And so you should definitely go install that app. But it's a very simple app.
But my point was that you just saw a need.
Yep.
And this kind of reminds me of a husband and wife couple working on the Big Day app. You saw a need and you just did it, and it took off.
Yeah, and so what we did initially was there wasn't a lot of like editorialized top apps and game lists that were changing. So we did that. Launch BAM's been a great success, but now it's like, what's the next thing? And that's where AppDisco comes in, and we think it's a cleaner interface, it's fun, it's personalized. It makes it almost like the first time you got you got your phone, you got all these cool apps. Now it's like you go back like, okay, do I fight to go find that app, and how do I do it? We want to make it fun again.
Yeah, and I think it's cool that it's trait-based. I haven't seen anything like that out there. He's got a minute 22.
And just go back to the trait parts too. These are traits that our editors have put in. So sometimes, no offense to any of the developers out here, you guys like to game your terminology and words and make yourself look like something you're not. Here, our editors are actually going in and actually gene tagging correctly. This is what it is. We've trained them. We have arguments and debates about it. So the user gets a good experience. So when you get notifications about new things, you're getting something good. Our users are pretty excited about it.
I think your point is that there's so many apps there that do one thing, but when you look at them in the store, they say they do something totally different, which happens to me all the time with apps.
Yep, cool.
But they can't game.
That's the whole. That's the whole premise here.
So you say it just came out today.
It just came out yesterday. And the other point for developers too is like emails and contacts. When you have a new game or app, we'll try to put you in, and the key part is we'll notify the users who've actually saved searches that match what your app or game has, so they'll come to you, and you'll get the best users quicker and faster.
Very nice. 30 seconds.
Anything else? Wow.
Anyone else?
No questions. Was I that good?
It was pretty well thought out, considering that I've been trying to reach you guys all week, and you've been just trying to get this thing out.
We're rushing to get it done. Cool.
So, do you have a promotion model?
Give me a CPI model, and on the search results, when you type in something, if you're further down, we'll pop you up, put the word sponsored. And the key part here is for advertisers too. It's normally you go tag keywords or you try to advertise in a certain way. Here you're going to get a totally orthogonal type of users who may have hit sci-fi, tilting 3D, and they may actually like your game for a different reason, but they wouldn't have searched and found it. So we're hoping to get you developers a whole slew of new users who wouldn't have found their game or understood it was right for them.
And that again is how it's done. Right to time.
Cool.
The CEO of Best Apps Market. That's Anu. Thank you, Anu, for joining us.